Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather in 10 to 14 days for today's second video. Day 10 will take us to the 18th of October, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with bits of GFS and ECM ensembles. Maybe we'll try a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at CFSV2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, and I shall get on back for you in a moment. Just to say about the first. The video today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast. Please like, share, and subscribe on both of today's videos. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you're having a lovely, lovely Tuesday. Right, going to start off in the subtropical Atlantic free interest areas. So we've got a yellow X just here. So, sorry, when that is disturbance 1, maybe 20% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 and 7 days. Doesn't look like you have to worry too much about disturbance 1 at this point. They've got tropical storm Leslie, giving maximum sustained winds of 70 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 988 millibars. That was a hurricane. It's now down to tropical storm status and about being meandering around, going nowhere fast over the next few days. Current position just there, and they'll be going post-tropical into the weekend, and I think that will be pretty much the end of Leslie then. And then we have got Hurricane Milton, currently giving maximum sustained winds of 145 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 929 millibars, and moving east-northeast was at 12 miles per hour. This was a Category 5 hurricane a few hours ago. It's gone back down to a Category 4. But I don't think that's the end of it as a Category 5. It may well power back up again in about 12 hours' time, be giving maximum sustained winds of about 160 to 155 miles per hour. So it might well reach Category 5 status once again. 157 miles per hour, I think, is like the minimum to be Category 5. So it may well reach Category 5 status again within the next few hours. Then it will be 48 hour time. It will be near the Florida coast, giving maximum sustained winds of 125 miles per hour near the coast then. So, you know, really devastating storm, obviously. At the moment, it's mostly impacted the Yucatan Peninsula, I think, of Mexico. But as I say, this is on its way to Florida. So if we go back here and go here, you can see that it's expected to make landfall as a major hurricane. It won't be Category 5 hurricane when it makes landfall, if the forecast is correct. But it will be either a high-end Category 3 or maybe a Category 4 hurricane as it makes landfall on the Florida coast. They will move right over Florida and out into the Atlantic. So this is the Gulf of Mexico, of course, just here. So it'll come from the Gulf of Mexico. Current position is just here off the Yucatan Peninsula. Current position is there. So it will move onto the Florida coast through the middle part of the week, move over Florida itself, and then out into the Atlantic, where it will go post-tropical, and that should be the end of Milton then, somewhere near Bermuda. But what an incredible storm. This has been one of the most powerful storms on record, one of the most powerful hurricanes on record. I think at the moment it's about the third most powerful hurricane recorded. So, you know, absolutely unbelievable development. So we will be keeping you updated on Milton over the next few days. But of course, if anybody is on that Florida coast and watching this, then please heed the warnings from your National Weather Service. Heed the advisories. I think the Tampa Bay area is evacuating at the moment. So, you know, just take care, heed the warnings and whatnot. It's a devastating and very, very, very dangerous storm. So, you know, be aware and be careful. We'll keep you updated. Right, central temperature, going back home, central temperature is now sitting at 11.9. That's 1.4 degrees above 61 to 99 average, visual to yesterday, the 7th of October. So turning into a relatively mild first week to October. Little cold snaps on the way, though. These for GFS, upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. The next couple of weeks, red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Cardiff. So starting off about average at the moment, but as I said, cold snap is on the way for the second half of this week. You have a little northerly cold snap as we've had throughout this autumn, on and off. Then we're going to see the upper air temperatures lifting up, though, as we go into next week, becoming milder. And the third week of October looking generally quite mild then, with rather above average temperatures. So continuing as the autumn has been, really up and down temperatures, but with occasional colder interludes coming through. Precipitation-wise, quite unsettled at the moment. When we get this sort of cold snap at the end of the week, we'll see things drying out. That will last into the weekend. So show you once more, everyone. And then next week, we're going to find that the precipitation comes back, if that's right. So next week is looking more unsettled once again through that third week of October. Might be mild, but could also be quite wet. Temperature anomalies from the 8th to 16th of October, just a little bit below average, but not that big a deviation, but slightly on the cooler than average side. Precipitation anomalies from the 8th to 16th of October, largely drier than normal, especially for more western regions. Blaze wind from that from UrbanOldSchool.net shows that we've got low pressure sitting just as southwest approaches at the moment. Both remains of Hurricane Kirk must be moving towards Biscay and then on into France, Germany and the Low Countries through the next couple of days, tomorrow and Thursday. Right, let's start going through chart data then. Let's have the latest UK Met Euro run. It's looking for midnight on Friday. So by then, we've got low pressure to the north of Scotland, high pressure out in the Atlantic, and bringing quite a chilly northwesterly wind. Through the weekend, high pressure strengthens to the south, and on into next week, you find high pressure building over and to the east of the country, pulling the wind around to a milder or a warmer southerly direction. So the early part of next week should see temperatures lifting back up again. Albeit nights could be a bit on the chilly side. There might be some mist and fog under that area of high pressure as well. Icon looks like this. So again, we've got low pressure north, high pressure gradually building from the south though over the weekend and into next week. Quite a bit of high pressure sitting to our east. There is this shallow trough coming up from the south though. So that could bring showery conditions into more southern and southwestern areas by next Tuesday. The KMA looks like that. So again, we've got high pressure building up from the south over the weekend. Next week, we start to drop a southerly wind, so it should be quite mild, but low pressure comes in from off the Atlantic. Then we turn flat and westerly with a very mild southwesterly wind, but also quite a strong wind. So that's turning more westerly. That's like a return of westerlies, really. Looking flat as a pancake, actually, as we get to the 20th of October. High pressure south, low pressure to the north, and westerlies coming through there. Mild, yes, through the third week of October, but quite unsettled, particularly so for more northern regions. What about the GFS midnight run? Again, we've got a high pressure out to the west of the country on Friday. Then ridging through the country during the weekend. We've got dry weather to south. North will be a little bit more unsettled. Early next week, high pressure strengthening over and to the east of the country. That pulls up this southerly southeasterly flow. That looks quite mild, but should be mainly dry. Comes some mist and fog night and morning. That's day 10, 18th of October. High pressure away to the east, low pressure out to the west, drawing up a mild or even a very mild southerly flow. And then beyond that, find the winds shifting around more of a westerly, but still with high pressure. sorry again, everyone. Still high pressure dominating over and to the east of the country. So lots of high pressure influences there with the GFS midnight run. But the south, the north though, is a little bit more unsettled. And by the very end of the GFS midnight run, winds are coming in from a northwesterly direction, so cooler and more showering as we're moving towards the last week of October. How did the GFS 6-day compare? Once more, high pressure brings probably quite a lot of dry weather to the south over the weekend, the north looking more unsettled. Early next week, high pressure building over to the east country, low pressure out to the west. We bring up the wind from a southerly southeasterly direction. And most southerlies continue then as we move on in towards the days 8, 9 and 10 period. Gradually start to more unsettled from off the Atlantic in a more extended range. So low pressure coming in from the Atlantic, coming in from the west during the third week of October. Looks quite unsettled, bouts of rain, but will be mild. Winds always coming in from a west or southwest direction. That was much more typical, much more typical October pattern than what we've had in the first half of the month, which is quite a lot of northern blocking and unusual weather patterns during this first week, despite the fact we're coming out with above average temperatures, though. So yeah, that looks much more typical though for October, with like a flat westerly Atlantic-driven zonal flow. Anyway, enjoy the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And show everyone thought you that. Why not drop a comment and say what you think about this and all of our videos and content. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe to you. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Okay, GM, once again with high pressure pulling out to the west. We bring in this west-northwesterly wind for Friday over the weekend. Also a little bit more unsettled with the GM, actually. Cooler and more showery there. And then on to next week, though, high pressure. I don't feel like what is going to go today? High pressure strengthening over and to the east country. A lot of dry weather. Winds shift around to the south-southeast. So should bring milder or warmer air up from the south. We end up looking like that, rather flat and westerly. Winds from west or southwest direction. And then the east rounding it all off. Much this the weekend. High pressure gradually trying to strengthen from the south. Early next week, we've got low pressure out to west, high pressure to the east, drawing up this southerly flow. So it looks like we could be turning very mild through the course of next week, albeit quite unsettled with spells of rain coming in from off the Atlantic, particularly affecting the northwest. The south and the east will always be a little bit drier with that pattern. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from tometeo.com. And I've got further showering conditions over the next couple of days. When winds turning to the north, so things will turn drier but also colder at the end of week. And then on into next week. So the south has a lot of dry weather. The north and west will be a bit more unsettled. Gradually over time, we see some rain even getting into more southern parts of the country as those southwesterly winds return. But the wettest weather will probably always be towards the north and the west there. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles day 4, day 10. The Icelandic Med Office gets us to the 18th of October. 18 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure to the east-northeast, low pressure to the west-northwest. We draw the wind up from a southerly or southeast direction, mostly dry, but pretty mild as well with that. And then we've got 17 with low pressure away to the northwest, high pressure is dominating to the south and the east. Yeah, that should bring a lot of dry and also very mild weather with it. And then got 16 with low pressure coming in off the Atlantic. That's more unsettled. Still mild, winds in from the west, but it is more unsettled, more Atlantic driven. And then in 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Gets us 23rd of October, 20 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure north of Scotland, and we're bringing in a sort of westerly flow. So a little bit unsettled with that. 12 with high pressure dominating over and to the east. The coast should be mainly dry, probably quite mild, could be relatively warm. Winds coming from a southerly direction. We've got 7 with high pressure up towards Scandinavia, low pressure out in the Atlantic. Could be more unsettled, should be mild though, winds coming up from the southwest. We've got 6 with high pressure just to the northwest of Scotland. Around that, we bring the wind in from the east, so drier but colder, perhaps, or a little bit colder with that. And then we've got a final 6 just here with high pressure over and to the east country, low pressure out to west, and we bring up wind from south. That's going to be back to like the drier and milder scenario. Now, a range of options on the table there, both day 10 and also day 14. But overall, I think looking anticyclonic, high pressure to the south and to the east for a while anyway, and probably quite mild through the third week of October. CFSB2 finally, these are 500 millibar high tolerance, bring down into week periods. The first week period takes us from the 8th, 14th of October. Next week looks unsettled, of course, with low pressure in control. Week 2 is going to be the 15th to 21st of October. Flat as a pancake this week. Low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south. Winds coming in from the west. So a return of the westerlies, a return of zonality there. Week 3, going to be the 22nd, 28th of October. High pressure down towards Spain and Portugal. Low pressure towards Greenland. Winds will be coming up from a southwesterly direction with that. Probably mostly dry in the south. Could still be a little bit changeable in the north. But a bit of a change to week 4, which is the 29th of October, 4th of November. High pressure then pulls out into the Atlantic. Could there be some sort of trough coming through here? Along with a dip in the jet stream, maybe. That might be turning a little bit cooler and a little bit more unsettled there for the beginning of November. Long way out though, so we shall see. Right, we're done. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, share and subscribe. Thanks so much everyone for doing that. Why not drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe too. So much everyone for doing that. So I'll just tell you what's happening on my channel tomorrow. We're going to have a 6 AM UK weather forecast. We've got the extended European outlook. Will be live at 6 PM. With your 10 to 14 dayer, and then straight after that live stream, we've got the second, blimey, Christmas 2024 sneaky peeky. So that's going to be very, very exciting. Watch straight after the live stream about 7 PM tomorrow evening. Well, you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday though, and for this one, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.